You think taking 15 different supplements every morning makes you an elite performer. You believe that because you consume expensive nootropics, obscure adaptogens, and highly concentrated synthetic vitamins, you are actively building an unbreakable brain. You are completely wrong. Right now, your central nervous system is suffocating under massive metabolic toxicity. But you did not earn this brain fog through hard physical work. It is financed by a dangerous, unregulated chemical overload that is actively destroying your own neurochemistry. When you consume complex synthetic stacks without mastering biological fundamentals, you are no longer optimizing your biology. You are a biologically fragile addict disguised as an intellectual biohacker. You are playing pharmacist with zero clinical understanding. We need to establish a brutal clinical baseline. The supplement industry has successfully convinced you that more is better. They have convinced you that human biology is like a video game where you can just add endless power-ups to increase your stats. You watch a podcast where a neuroscientist mentions a compound, and you immediately buy it. The next week, you hear about another exotic root extract, and you add it to your morning protocol. Before long, you are swallowing 20 pills before you even eat breakfast. You assume these compounds are working in perfect harmony. You assume they are magically finding their way to your brain and optimizing your focus. This is a massive physiological lie. You are not experiencing synergy, you are experiencing violent chemical cross-reactivity. Let us perform a clinical autopsy on what actually happens when you swallow that handful of pills. Every single compound you ingest must pass through your gastrointestinal tract and be processed by your liver. This is called first-pass metabolism. Your liver is the ultimate chemical gatekeeper. It relies on a specific family of enzymes known as the cytochrome P450 system to break down foreign substances. When you consume a single high-quality supplement, your liver handles it efficiently. But when you dump 20 highly concentrated, artificially extracted compounds into your system all at once, you create a massive hepatic bottleneck. Your liver enzymes are completely overwhelmed. They cannot process the load. Your liver is treating your biohacking stack like a poison. Because the liver is fighting to metabolize this chaotic chemical soup, it diverts massive amounts of systemic energy away from your brain. This is the hidden reason you feel exhausted by noon. You think you need more caffeine. You actually need to stop poisoning your own hepatic system. When the liver cannot process the compounds fast enough, they begin to circulate in your bloodstream in unpredictable, broken half-lives. You create systemic inflammation. Your liver enzymes, specifically ALT and AST, begin to spike. Your body registers this not as optimization, but as a toxic threat. You are spending hundreds of dollars a month to actively induce a state of chronic, low-grade biological stress. Now, let us look at the absolute failure of competitive absorption. The human digestive tract is highly selective. It has specific transporter proteins that carry vitamins and minerals across the intestinal wall and into the bloodstream. These transporters are limited in number. When you take massive doses of different minerals at the same time, they compete for the exact same pathways. If you consume high doses of synthetic zinc, it will aggressively block the absorption of copper. Copper deficiency leads to severe neurological issues and profound fatigue. If you take massive doses of calcium alongside iron, the calcium will completely neutralize the iron absorption. You are swallowing expensive pills, but your cells are starving. You are essentially creating highly expensive, biochemically useless urine. You cannot force nature to absorb chaos. The biohacking community ignores this because it destroys their business model. They sell you multivitamin packs with 40 different ingredients and claim it is the ultimate foundation for health. It is biologically impossible for your body to absorb all of those conflicting compounds simultaneously. Furthermore, the concentration levels in these supplements are completely unnatural. In nature, vitamins and minerals are bound to complex food matrices. They are packaged with enzymes, fibers, and cofactors that control the rate of absorption. When you isolate a single compound in a laboratory and megadose it at 10,000% of the daily value, you bypass the body's natural regulatory mechanisms. You force a violent spike in blood serum levels, which immediately triggers your kidneys to flush the excess out of your system. This leads us to the most dangerous biological trap of all, receptor downregulation. You are obsessed with optimizing your dopamine. You want more focus, you want more drive, so you start taking potent neurotransmitter precursors. You take L-tyrosine, you take L-dopa, you take mucuna pruriens. You are literally force-feeding your brain the raw chemical materials to manufacture massive amounts of dopamine. For the first 2 weeks, you feel like a genius. Your focus is sharp, your motivation is limitless. You think you have finally hacked the system, but you do not understand the law of biological homeostasis. The human brain is an incredibly sensitive thermostat. It is designed to maintain balance at all costs. The brain always collects its chemical debt. When your brain senses an artificial, abnormally high flood of dopamine caused by your supplement stack, it panics. It interprets this massive chemical wave as a severe threat to neurological stability. To protect itself from overstimulation, the brain executes a defense mechanism. It begins to aggressively destroy its own dopamine receptors. It physically shrinks the synaptic pathways so that the artificial dopamine has nowhere to bind. This is clinical downregulation. It is the exact same biological process that happens to a hard drug addict. After a few weeks, your magic focus pills stop working. You do not feel motivated anymore. In fact, you feel worse than before you started. What is your immediate reaction? You increase the dose. You buy a stronger nootropic. You add another stimulant to the stack. You are digging your own biological grave. You are forcing your brain to destroy even more receptors. When you finally realize the stack is ruining your life and you try to stop taking the pills, you experience a devastating crash. Your natural dopamine production has been suppressed, and the receptors you have left are completely numb. You cannot focus on a spreadsheet. You cannot read a book. You cannot even get out of bed without profound psychological friction. You have biologically trained your brain to rely on an external synthetic crutch, and you have destroyed your natural baseline in the process. You are medicating a lifestyle problem with a chemical. We must dissect the obsession with adaptogens. Ashwagandha, rhodiola, lion's mane. You consume these powerful botanical extracts every single day, year-round. The marketing claims they balance your hormones and reduce cortisol. But adaptogens are not daily vitamins. They are highly active pharmaceutical-grade plant compounds designed to force a biological shift during acute periods of extreme stress. When you take ashwagandha every single day for months, you artificially blunt your natural cortisol awakening response. Cortisol is not just a stress hormone, it is the hormone of action. It is what forces you out of bed in the morning. When you chronically suppress it with daily adaptogens, you develop anhedonia. You feel flat. You feel emotionless. You lose your competitive drive. You are literally chemically castrating your own ambition because a podcast host told you it would make you calm. Furthermore, chronic use of certain adaptogens can severely disrupt your thyroid function. Your endocrine system is a delicate, tightly regulated feedback loop. When you introduce external hormonal modulators every single day without medical supervision, you create profound systemic confusion. You do not need to suppress your cortisol with a pill. You need to stop staring at a screen until 2 a.m. You need to stop consuming toxic, hyperpalatable foods that cause systemic inflammation. You are trying to use an exotic root extract to out-supplement a fundamentally broken lifestyle. It will never work. Stop trying to outsmart millions of years of evolution. The biohacking industry thrives on your ignorance. They invent new biological problems just to sell you the synthetic solution. They convince you that you are deficient in dozens of rare compounds that human beings survived perfectly fine without for 200,000 years. This is the illusion of complexity. You surround yourself with bottles, powders, and measuring spoons. You spend an hour every morning mixing potions. It makes you feel like you are doing the work. It gives you a massive dopamine hit of fake productivity. But if you look at the highest performers in human history, the elite athletes, the elite thinkers, they do not operate like this. They operate on ruthless, unglamorous biological simplicity. The true science of human optimization is not found in a capsule. It is found in the execution ratio. This is the unshakable law of the top 1%. For every single supplement you consider adding to your body, you must have 10 foundational lifestyle habits perfectly executed. If you are not sleeping 8 hours in a pitch-black, temperature-controlled room, you have no right to take a sleep supplement. If you are not exposing your eyes to direct natural sunlight within 30 minutes of waking up, you have no right to take a focus pill. Now, if you are not doing intense cardiovascular training and lifting heavy weights to optimize your mitochondrial efficiency, you have no right to touch a metabolic enhancer. You must earn the right to supplement. If your foundation is broken, supplements are just expensive biological noise. You must declare an immediate chemical fast. You must stop taking every single non-essential pill, powder, and extract you are currently consuming. You must allow your liver enzymes to return to baseline. You must allow your dopamine receptors to slowly regenerate and upregulate naturally. You must force your body to seek its energy and focus from the physical environment. When you strip away the synthetic crutches, the first week will be painful. You will experience the fatigue that you have been masking for years. But if you hold the line, the biological transformation is absolute. Your natural energy will return. The chronic brain fog will lift because your liver is no longer fighting a war against your morning routine. Your focus will become razor sharp because your dopamine receptors are clean and sensitive. You will stop intellectualizing your health and start commanding it. Are you someone who endlessly consumes complex marketing, or are you someone who executes the brutal fundamentals? While average men chase the next magic pill, you choose what is grounded in clinical reality. You strip away the noise. You protect your neurochemistry from the wellness industry. That is not luck. That is biological sovereignty. And sovereignty is the quiet superpower that separates the fragile consumer from the truly optimized performer. Pause and write this down now. Stop outsourcing your physiology. Stop hiding behind your expensive biohacking stack. Stop using complexity to avoid the boring, painful work of real physical adaptation. The market does not care how many pills you take. Biology does not care how much you spent on your supplements. It only rewards the relentless execution of the basics. Myelinate the habit of extreme simplicity. Protect your cognitive bandwidth. If you want to master your human biology and translate clinical science into unfair advantages, subscribe to the channel. Close this video right now. Throw away the garbage on your desk, execute the fundamentals, and do not come back until the work is done. I will see you in the next one.